when I look at what SK struggled with last split, it didn't really change much coming into this split. I feel like they kind of just made roster changes to make them. And yeah, they had a great series against Fnatic, but like the little birds in my ear that have been telling me about scrims haven't told me good things about SK. And I'm a firm believer that while scrims are not everything, they are really important and indicative of what, like, who's the better team.
Birds watch scrims?
You get the point, right? Like, I'm not leaking my sources.
Okay, all right,
I'm a
journalist. You're a journalistic professional.
Yes.
Okay, so we enter bans. There's a Jace taken away from Canna. Makes sense. Best Jace in our region. Hands down. Heard it echoed by many a top laner.
Korean Jace, baby.
Korean Jace. It's different.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to take out some ADC bans as well. Maybe a Varus, as that has been one of Kalista's favorite ADCs, and I think one of his best as well. Ooh, taken away.
Oh, okay, you're on point with the predictions today. All right, what's coming next, big man? What do you got?
I'm thinking maybe another jungle ban for KC here. Okay, yeah, it's going to be the Maokai.
You can't just say jungle ban. You
well, I was going to say a tank jungle ban, but I didn't have the time, and now for SK, I think it could be... It could be a Sejuani ban here. It's like the last tank jungler left. Or they could even ban something like the Gwen, as that has been a strong first pick as well. But I think Jax, he did play the Akali into it. Wasn't the greatest. I would love to see his Jax into it. I think Jax is much easier to pilot into the Gwen. And it's going to be the Rumble ban, which also kind of sets up the Gwen, as that's also a really good champion into it. Ooh. Could be a Yone first pick.
Yone first pick would be interesting. Immediately suggests that we're looking for an AP jungler for Yike, but Kalista's up. A champion we have not seen nearly as highly prioritized this split as she was, well, permabanned in the previous split.
Definitely been quite a bit lower prio, and I also think it goes to show it's hard to pull this champion off, right? Yeah. You need to both be very good as the Kalista player, and you need your team to be really sharp on the map and not to throw, which has been a challenge for many teams in our region.
And to harken back to what Odoamne was saying about, you know, building a fundamentally good draft, the thing that's nice about Kalista is she fills that carry slot, and she offers a little bit more engaged. I don't think she's enough to say that she can start fights solo. She does a lot there. But for SK, Corki locked in, as well as the Taliyah, so no real flex pick potential here, but Taliyah has been just a really strong mid lane.
There's one pick on 3. I feel like if SK can set up for it, that could be very scary, and that would be the Poppy. If you have this Taliyah Poppy, that is like, it's the worst nightmare of any Kalista player. I mean, your best gameplay is to not jump, but your whole champion relies on jumping. So, and now when they pick the Sejuani Yone, surely this is a Poppy on 3. They're asking for it. And I think it's great. I mean, sure, like Yone can like buffer the Poppy E, but still.
But it can't be Skarner.
Nah, this is a Poppy for sure. Poppy, Poppy.
Give us the Yordle.
I mean, they could go and what?
Okay, Lillia.
This is strange. Usually you only want to go Lillia with an AD mid, but they already have the Taliyah. And Lillia is good into Sejuani, isolated. But now you're going to end up with a team comp with not much frontline. You really need some very tanky top and support. You could still potentially play the Poppy in either top or support, but you're really looking for something like an Alistar. Maybe KC will ban that out, and something like a Cassante on top, but then it kind of feels bad because you're wasting your last pick on top for just a tank. But you really, really need some frontline for these 3 carries on the side of SK.
Yeah.
As Odoamne highlighted, right? You need some face check power, as he put it.
Yeah. We have more than one carry. We have some mixed damage here.
Yeah,
pretty heavy magic damage, I will say. It is important to remember that for the first few minutes of that SK game against BDS where Boukada played this Lillia, it went really well. He had clever level 1 pathing.
It went well for the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And then he didn't respect the Skarner roam, and 1-1-3 killed him, and it all fell apart. But I like that they're willing to try it again. Like you mentioned, it is good into the Sejuani. We'll see if they've cooked up a strategy. But in terms of fundamental drafting that Odoamne mentioned, as you highlighted before, this is... KC have basically already got all the pieces they need. Sejuani can face check. They've got good engage. They've got good follow-up.
I think magic damage will be the biggest thing that you're looking for the side of KC. It's a good Gwen ban from SK. You could, though, decide to just go like a mixed damage tank for the side of KC, and that would be fine. Or even something like a Camille that offers some true damage. So it's like it's hard to itemize. Yone does a lot of magic damage, Seju does a lot of magic damage, and the Camille did with the true damage. And at the same time, there's no tank on the side of SK, so it's like, who's going to buy armor anyways? Well, they go to Sion.
There you have your answer, Mr. Smart Guy. We have the Sion coming in.
Yeah, so now I think the Camille sounds amazing. Something like a Camille or an Aatrox. But Aatrox is a little bit more countered by armor, as he's all physical damage. Even something like an Ambessa with the you know, the percentage pen on her ultimate. Yeah, be fine. I think Camille for me sounds really good into these squishy carries. And then for support, Renata is out, which is another good ban by SK. And something like Leona is great. So Leona is fantastic in these AD heavy drafts because you're essentially saying you have to go Merc Treads. If you don't go Merc Treads, I'm going to CC you. But if you don't go Merc Treads against all my AD champions, then like if you don't go Steel Caps, then you're also sad. So now you're like sad regardless of what you go.
There's no actual good option.
Ooh.
This is no.
No. We've seen Yorick in LPL.
No, I believe that it could be picked. I'm saying that he's playing with us. He's playing. We're being teased right now.
Maybe.
And Ambessa, which
right.
Again, the percentage armor pen you mentioned before can be pretty solid, and as long as they can ignore this Sion.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, Drakos. They did get a really tanky 4-5, but their engage and starting fight power that Odo Amon talked about is very lackluster. It's just an Alistar comboing in or a Sion ultimate. Both feel like they're so committal, while the side of KC, you have the Sejuani ult you can throw out. You have the Leona ult you can throw out. And if they land, you follow it up with the Yone ult, you follow up with the Ambessa ult, and it's easy pickings. But then on the side of SK, it's like you have to go all in, but you don't really know how the fight is going to look until you're already all in there. And I just feel like the individual synergies are not quite there. There's only the Alistar really setting up this Taliyah combo, and a Taliyah Lillia mid jungle. I just don't see how they play the 1-3-1 later on, because Sion loses to both, and Taliyah will eventually lose to both.
So what is the angle? If you're SK coming into this game, what do you need to do to balance out the weaknesses of the composition?
That's a good question. I'm gonna need to think a little bit.
You can take your time. In the meantime,
snowballing early I think is the biggest thing.
Snowballing early. Okay.
When it comes to the jungle matchup, I think that's key for SK, because the reason you pick this Lillia into the Sejuani, for one thing, and a word we often use, tempo. You clear camps much faster than Sejuani, so the goal is that you can do one of two things. Either power farm to get yourself ahead and just be always ahead of the Sejuani in time, or you gank lanes to get your laners ahead and utilize the fact that you clear camps faster. So I think this game is mostly on Boukada to make this Lillia pick work, because it's also his pick that I think makes this whole draft a little bit wonky.
But it's comfort. Something they prioritize for him, and we'll see now as it pays off. He's headed into this first game. Saw a little quick transitive property sign there. Of course, SK beating Fnatic. You know, Fnatic beating
the circle of...
No. Therefore, SK. I mean, yes, okay. KC win, then we're back to the old circle. We either get the transitive property or we get the circle of suck, as it's been aptly named. Karmine Corp fans jazzed, ready for this one. Level 1 gonna be important. We mentioned it anytime we see the Lillia, right? Her ability to take those raptors.
Yeah, so last time Boukada played this Lillia, he went for the Wolves invade, which we typically don't see. And it was against the Skarner, but it's very similar, the matchup of Lillia into Skarner and Lillia into Sejuani. So I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to go for something level 1 here. What?
The Lillia emotes are just very loud. I'm not sure if they're loud for everyone.
For me, they were fine.
Alright, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Hysterix does have his volume up very loud. He gets very excited about the game.
Oh. Yike is doing something here.
Big sound design.
He's just trying to scout Boukada and see if he wants to go for something early. And Boukada does look like he wants to go for it. Maybe he's even going to do like Raptors into an invade here.
Certainly.
That was loud?
Yeah, was that not hidden for you?
That was not that loud.
Okay, all right. I'm just, you're fine.
Okay, so bot lane is going to lose push for the side of SK, as you have this Alistar into the Leona, very weak level 1, and the Kalista Leona are very strong. So I don't think Boukada can really do anything bot side when it comes to these invades. He's decided to go for the Raptors. Trading here. Raptors into his bot side clear. Some good trades from Keduii.
I think important to remember too, despite the relative success of KC thus far this year, it was Keduii who came out on top against Caliste so many times during his tenure on BDS Academy.
Yeah, it was especially summer as BDS Academy won both LFL and they won EU Masters, beating KC both times. So a little bit of revenge for Caliste, although, you know, he already won LEC and went to first hand, so he probably doesn't feel too bad about it.
Flashed on my life. He may feel like he's gone on to bigger and better things, but for Keduii, you know, maybe a chance to bring him back down to earth.
To prove that he really is the better ADC.
It's going to be tough to prove it in a single best of 3.
It is.
Especially when you have an Alistar beside you, as we mentioned before. Might need one more level. Also, Loopy not having Aftershock is...
That's interesting. So despite being kind of the main frontline here alongside the Sion, he wants to go for more of this chase down potential. Being able to just run them down with this Glacial Augment. And it is weaker in the early game, but I'd say it kind of scales better as eventually you get so tanky anyways that you don't really need it.
I mean, once you have ult, it's fine, right? It's always just same thing with Phase Rush Alistar. It's these first few levels that can be tricky.
Doing SK's bot lane are playing very well, I'd say here, even getting an HP lead. And this has been one of my main criticism of KC's bot lane has been their early laning phase. I feel like they're often not able to get the leads that I would want them to get.
Quick combo. No real return trade here.
It's another good trade for SK, but Boukada is on top side crab here, while Sejuani is bot side. So Yike might be able to burn some sums here or get something to happen.
Loopy. Okay, Targamas and Loopy both whipping their respective kills. Loopy anticipation there as he uses the Pulverize.
They have a ward here. They must know, so they're just playing respectfully.
Finish the recall. They're trying to get this push out. Kalista and Targamas ready to fight.
They do both have a ward, so they should be able to now feel safe and
Vladi and FLICKR trading, but I think this favors Vladi on the snap back. Especially as he also doesn't have mana, and Reeker's very quickly running So outside of top lane where the Sion and Ambessa are hitting each other to little effect, a lot of aggressive trading here between bot and mid.
Yeah, and this feels really good for the side of SK, because just you can notice how SK's bot lane is full HP, and that's just from that Alistar sustain. So you really, when you're playing this Kalista Leona matchup, you want to get a lot better trades than they have been getting, so you can make that HP lead stick. Because if it's just short trades like that, where they're either equal or in the favor of SK, you're going to lose push, and you're not going to be a happy Kalista.
No. And is this what's standard expected? I know you're always going to lose level 1, probably level 2 when you're playing Alistar, but should you expect more out of a Kalista in the context of this game?
I mean, I would have wanted to see them maybe get a base off and then look for just some sort of item lead.
Hold that, as the dive might be coming out. Gen X trying to clear the wave as quickly as he can. Excellent layering of the CC, a quick first blood, Aftershock for Yike. Keeping it barely standing.
It's a quick and easy dive by the side of KC. Gen X does have TP, so he can TP back and catch the wave. But still, kill does end up going over to Sejuani, which, wait, he's TPing both there actually. Ooh, they're looking to, bit of a weird TP though, because
tricky swap.
The wave is already gone. But now he wants to try to cancel Caliste base and waste his time. But Ambessa can just TP ult.
Forces the TP out from Ambessa to match. Now they get matched 2v2 on top side for grub spawn in 30 seconds, but they're first in terms of overall tempo.
That's true.
So small advantage, and it guarantees that neither top laner can be there. Sion does have all, I don't know, I'm spitballing here, but there's some strengths to the play being made, especially as Gen X is already starting to walk up, potentially fishing for an ult angle.
This is one of the best things about when you're playing like Sion in these grub situations and you end up swapping, is now, since neither of them does have TP, Sion can just walk into river, and Canna needs to say, back off, Sion can ulti. And then the whole of KC gets scared. While if Ambessa goes into river, you know you still have so much time, you know, it's like
in 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds,
you might
Ambessa will
back up.
Yeah. With her Cull pickaxe.
Probably not that scary quite yet, but I understand the Cull. You're playing against a Sion.
Yeah, it's a good Cull pickup. It's just the lack of boots makes those like roams even more slow, but it looks like it's going to be a Drake trade for grubs here, which does feel a bit weird because you ended up sending your bot lane top. So normally...
Well, now Sion's recalling. Reeker in trouble. Took a huge chunk of damage there. Glad he did use ulti. But a bit of an awkward exchange. Okay, so Dragon likely to fall for the side of SK Grubs. Only one going down so far, but Yike set to get all three, and now Boukada forced away.
Oh, it's a disaster for SK. The Drake is going to reset, and it's 3 Grubs for the side to KC. And they defend the Drake play. And this SK macro early game, they're kind of missing the mark, and they're losing waves on a lot of sides. Like, you see now that the CS lead on bot lane is ended up being 10 CS, and the Ambessa has gotten the lead as well. And because it's both the Corki and the Sion has been dropping CS to make these swaps happen.
But I don't think the swap gave them anything. Yeah. You mentioned overcooking before in the context of draft, but this is a situation where maybe they could have just reset and returned to top lane. Had standard lanes, fought over Drake, or mismatched at normal timings. They got rid of both TPs, but the cost of that is they lose grubs. So, not a good deal. I would say. Matching TPs to lose grubs does not feel like the play SK were looking to make there.
Yeah. And I mean, especially when the standard these days is always you're able to get that Drake for grubs trade, and when you aren't, it feels bad.
Yeah, and I think the kind of goals, the metrics we wanted to use to track SK in this early game, even as we talk about some of the parts of their composition being a bit more difficult. Nice flip from FLICKR there. Unstoppable, though, is Vladi. Was can they get ahead, right? Jungle matchup was something we mentioned, and the answer already is no. Now, a lot of that is because Yike got that early kill, and we know Lillia's clear speed will only increase as she gets more items, but you really wanted to find those early game leads, and you found a pretty good bot lane 2v2. It's just that one little macro mistake that feels like it took away any small advantages you were building on.
Yeah, and the problem is one of the things we talked about was we really want to see Boukada get a lead. He has not done so. He spent half a minute trying to get the Drake, and then being forced to back off. And when you're playing this matchup where tempo and time is everything, that feels terrible. And if I'm going into this game at 10 minutes and Sejuani and Lillia have the same farm, I'm always rather going to have the Sejuani. Because the whole point of this Lillia is that she's so strong that Sejuani can't just ulti and one-shot her. But if they're equal, then Sejuani is just tankier while also having CC.
And again, the Lillia is something they opted for.
Yeah.
Tank junglers were kind of what we were expecting.
didn't pick it for them.
Yeah, it did.
Like I said.
But it's not like other things were taken off the board, right? You could have picked Skarner. You could have had your first pick of jungler.
Could have had Poppy.
Could have had Poppy.
Still one of the craziest. They had Kalista, Ambessa, and we didn't pick Poppy.
Maybe no one on the team plays Poppy. Maybe no one's got the Poppy ready to go.
True. We played some Poppy earlier.
We did.
Arena.
We did. The only good game we played, sadly.
Yeah, Poppy Shen. Just need 2 brain dead tanks.
All I'm saying is if you don't pick Bravery and Arena, you're probably a bad person.
A bad
like,
person?
not guaranteedly, but statistically, it's much more likely that you're a bad person if you don't pick Bravery and Arena.
Isn't it funny how we can be like snug, not what's called like superior about anything
100%
in life?
Yeah. Do you think we're too pretentious as casters?
You didn't pick Bravery, bro?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it doesn't
You
count.
played the champion you wanted to play in the for-fun game.
Isn't that isn't that the League of Legends community in a nutshell? Like, oh, you won LEC? Well, it's not Worlds. Like, oh, well, you did this, but oh, you qualified LEC.
It's humanity.
Yeah. Negativity bias, man. Let's be positive.
Let's say something positive.
Yeah, let's say something positive.
Say something positive about SK
9 gold lead for Gen X top lane. He has a Sunfire Cave completed. He's holding it down there. You know, he got the short end of the stick this game. Somebody had to play tank. Somebody had to be the boring guy. And you know what? Every other game before this, it wasn't Gen X. He's played Rumble. He's played Yasuo, Jace, Akali. But this week he said, guys, I'll take a back seat. Hasn't paid off yet, but it's good that he's showing up both sides.
You think he said that before this week? Guys, I'm gonna only play tanks.
No, probably not. Maybe he did. Who knows?
That would be pretty funny if my top laner said that. Like, I tried the carries, didn't work.
Maybe
I'll play silent.
They might be taking turns. Boukada's turn to try to play the carries, you know? Maybe this is a deal that they have.
It's a turn-based drafting simulator.
I mean, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
But mostly for like normal games with my friends, definitely not for professional League of Legends.
Yeah, probably smart. Okay. Second grubs. It looks like both teams are posturing to contest. Both top laners do have TP.
Yep.
No items completed except for the junglers, who both have theirs finished.
Thank you. Good summary. Good summary. SK, bit of mid-prio, courtesy of FLICKR, now heading level 9. Max rank and threaded volley means he clears those waves pretty quick. Bot wave pushed in.
SK top wave here. Oh, they're TPing in.
TPing. Interesting. Full committal to the play here, just to get second grub spawn. Of course, don't want to give that away to the Yone and Ambessa. Yike might try to steal one just to get the 4 grub buff. Vladi waiting off the side, trying to stay out of vision. One more grub to go down. Yike gonna try for the last one to steal. This might already came up. Quick snipe onto FLICKR, but instantly SK trying to turn back. Drowsy Yone, but no one can really follow up. Watch out, Eve coming down. The blooming blows there as well, but
That's 3 grubs for SK?
Yeah.
No, 2 grubs actually. So it ends up the 4th grub does go over to the side of KC. They really want to try to contest, but due to how slow Canna is, because he wants the first base and then TP in to get that Eclipse, he ends up being so late that by the time Vladi goes in, the grubs are already done and the fight's already pretty much over. FLICKR does flash into the Yone ult, but he ends up still being fine. So it's a flash for FLICKR and flash for Gen X, while TP used on the side of Canna, but 2 grubs for SK. So overall, not too bad. But we have to see if they'll be able to punish those 2 missing flashes on the solo laners on the side of SK.
yeah, it is a bit of a rough trade. The fact that Yike is able to grab the 4th grub and secure the might spawns is unfortunate. course, Boukada has
especially when you're playing against Yone and Ambessa side lane later on.
Also, I mean, there's nothing that you can do at that point once KC are able to walk in, because you're going to have to smite one of the grubs, and Yike will probably smite the other.
Yeah.
So it's just tough to guarantee all three when the enemy is able to show up for the fight. KC, 3 members grouped around the bottom side. Vladi sitting out on a CS there, but plate gold just going to get deleted. Be able to clear that one out instantaneously. Drake in 1 minute. That's why KC have so much attention paid to the bottom side. SK trying to play through mid. A 2 setup there. Genx going to be a bit late to catching this wave, but as we've highlighted before, he does have the ulti if he wants to get involved in this potential Drake fight.
Yeah, he should be able to just catch this wave, and then maybe it'll be a little proxy angle here, I think. Maybe Canna wants to proxy this next wave. Or they'll just fight each other to the death.
Little Noxian skin arena battle.
Well, one person definitely won that one. That's like Sion.
Who do you
like
think? Who do you think?
The 2010 champ versus the 2025 champ.
I mean, he got reworked.
That's true. When did he get reworked,
To
actually?
be fair, he got reworked to be clunkier, right? Because OG Sion...
Not clunkier. The old Sion was so clunky.
Yeah, it was clunky, but like, you could just run around, stun people, and explode on them.
That's true. It was,
So it was a worse kit, but new.
it was an era of League with point and click, every stun,
Yeah,
everything.
he's thematically supposed to be this slow, hulking titan versus this character who just seems to just dance. Which you wouldn't gather from watching Arcane.
Yeah,
but
you'd think she would be like a slow, strong, kind of similar to Sion, to be honest.
yeah. But she's really dip, duck, dodging, and diving.
Kalista 2.0.
Yep. That's what I always thought to myself, is that we need more Kalista in game.
I mean, the kit design is good. I just feel like they should change the rend is so important for securing objectives, but KC are able to just sneak away the Drake here.
And they already have 3 objectives taken out. That much closer to the beats, and it's going to be Mountain Soul. Which would be big for KC to stop SK from getting, but either side probably happy to have it.
Yeah. I mean, if SK can make a comeback happen and start to stack some of these Mountain Drakes, I mean, Sion loves it, right? And even Lillia should buy some defensive items. Even Taliyah can go a little bit. And even Corki probably will pick up the plated steel caps, so a lot of Mountain Drake value here.
But if he picks up the plated steel caps, he doesn't have mercs. And despite the fact that you promised me that Sejuani Leona would result in mercs on the enemy team, I only see 1 pair.
Well, you see 1 pair of... It's perfect. It's balanced, as I said. You see 1 pair of plated steel caps and 1 pair of mercs, and 2 people that couldn't decide, so they went something else.
Fair. The wall does not matter. No escape for FLICKR in the blink of an eye. He disappears. KC quick pick the follow-up TP from Vladi just to make sure. FLICKR tried to find the escape angle. It was a good look, but just too much immediate, reliable CC.
And that's the problem with SK, right? They don't have the tools that KC does. KC have the Sejuani ult, they have the Leona ult, and they also have the follow-up. While SK, they have an Alistar that's going to run at you, a Sion that's going to run at you, but KC are just better. They're better on the map, they're better in their movements, and they're able to get first tower and the feats of strength.
Feats of strength and a 2.7k gold lead at 16 minutes. Right as Herald spawns. Now normally SK might be able to punish if it was a more even game state, because KC you'd expect would need to base, but they're just so far ahead that they don't even need to back and spend the money that they do have.
Canna is bot here. He does have TP, but all of SK is looking to contest.
Pokes.
Genx TPing in.
KC,
right
no ulti for Yike. Genx locked up. Loopy holding. Doesn't want to burn any CC.
Smite King.
Herald does go down. I mean, good on SK to get a small punish here.
It is going to be the Herald going over to the side of SK, but Canna intelligently ends up not TPing. Oh, but Genx
Up on the Targamas. Double sleep. Watch out, Eve not going to connect. Caliste, good with the Fates call. And the play fizzles. In the meantime, remember, Canna's still bot lane. Still pushing. Breaking down that tower.
Yeah, and it's a huge bot wave that's going to end up being lost for the side of SK. So despite the fact that they get the Herald, the gold lead that was...
Oh, Loopy. Forced to ult here.
The gold lead that was 2.7k has now gone up 500 gold, despite the fact that you might think, oh, SK got the Herald. It's good for them. When you lose waves on side like this, and you're able to get the cross map, while also wasting their time, like KC did, it's just great gameplay.
And it's still a good situation. The Herald, again, the struggle is when you're this far behind and you have Herald, we've seen so many teams just have to spawn it in a random place. It doesn't feel like you can always support that push.
The problem is because when you're not getting pushed on sides, it's really hard to get that numbers advantage that you really want to put down the Herald. And And as you can see, Sion is going to lose push into Ambessa, and Taliyah is going to lose push into Yone. So how do you get out of this like deadlock that KC has?
Loopy no ultimate from the previous play. Committing. Yike. Double frost procs. Ignite ticking. Loopy down. I mean, good look from KC. Good awareness of the cooldowns available, but with no ulti, and as previously mentioned, no aftershock. He's not that hard to take out.
Yeah, it's so difficult when you don't win skirmishes, you don't win on side, you don't have good engagement pick tools. It's a tough game to play.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it. Snowballing was the key, and they also needed to be cleaner in their early game execution. And sadly, despite some positive lanes, especially in the bot lane 2v2, it just did not matter. Flash back. Good reaction from Keduii, but KC happy to have that cooldown. Yike now might be the only one in trouble, but the tower's already down. Now it's SK who might just get caught out. It's quick stun there. Loopy trying to keep it going, but there's no immediate fall of damage. FLICKR starting to look a little unleashed. Canna trying to retreat, flash over the fat part of the wall. Well done, but now the Sion starting to chase, looking for the lineup. Won't quite connect on anybody. Looking for a bit more. Lucy flashing in. Chain CC not quite there. The Sion just can't hit a kill to save his life. Knockback there from Vladi. And again, it's all falling apart. FLICKR laying down some good damage. Q coming in from Genex, finally finding a bit of CC. Loopy goes back in, but just gets taken out in the blink of an eye. The Swirl Sleeve doesn't connect. Now Boukada's essentially out of mana. The full channel on the Q, not enough. Vladi flashing forward. When he snaps back, Boukada's dead. And there he goes.
Oh my god! It's gonna be an ace for KC, as everything that could go wrong for SK does. There was like 50 mechanical things that I could talk about in this team fight. Crazy movement from everyone. Let's start out with this great play from Canna and Vladi. Look to get Keduii's flash. They get him chunked. But then Yike is a bit too deep. He does a beautiful sidestep on Taliyah W here, which buys a ton of time. Then Loopy gets a two-man combo, and they're looking to chase them down. Canna flashes over the wall. And Genex, I don't know how this ulti misses. It looks like it would hit. But somehow it misses, and now we got solo kill on the Alistar.
Is it personal for Vladi? This man... Okay, I'm sorry, but killing someone into immediately recalling on that skin and playing electronic music is incredibly bad manners.
Well, he's this tempo, bro.
I know, it's the correct thing to do. It's just... It's like the coconut sipping Lee Sin.
Still doesn't beat Paris doing the Alistar.
As he gets sent packing back to base. Yeah, you're right. That was top. We got to make a top three moments in the split. KC 6.7k ahead. We're fast forwarding through a series of SK reactions just to show the full spectrum of emotion here. We're not picking on you. Your face just happens to be a perfect explanation of what has happened in the game thus far for anyone who has not been watching.
That must have been that fight, no? Must have been.
Could have been maybe the entire game on fast forward. I'm not sure. Maybe. There was a decent number of moments.
Yeah, it's been a rough one for SK. I really want to see them. I mean, for me, this is where you, even in-game, you start to think a little bit about game 2.
Yeah.
Because I think all of SK players know that this draft is not it. It's very hard to play. But they're going to pick on Targamas, no flash.
Flick is there.
In range.
Kalista too far away. Kalista not going to be able to stay with support. Targamas living for a damn long time. Boukada goes golden, gets a bit more space, but a well-timed ulti coming in from Canna. Now Vladi's here as well. He's going to give his life in the process. Kalista, the last one to chase. That's a big shutdown. Kalista and KC, do they want to keep going? They don't have any ultis left.
It's a great pick from SK. They're able to pick up 2, but KC are able to start the Atakan here, and I don't know if SK can really enter. Genex is so chunked.
I think that they
have to drop it. So
they might go back in 6k.
Trying,
but they can't. There's no chance. There's no chance they can steal it. And I don't know if they win the fight.
It's too hard.
Okay, Rift Herald dropped in mid lane.
The Guardian Angel Atakan. It is not gonna sync up with the Soul Spawn at least. So that's a consolation prize for SK. But you can see even when they make these good, intelligent plays, they're just so far behind that despite having a numbers advantage at the start of the fight, KC are able to bring back 2, and by the time they've actually gotten there, they can force SK out and get this Atakan. And now, I want to see what can KC do with this GA Atakan. Because I don't remember the last time I saw a team get something good done with GA Atakan. I mean, I want to see a tier 2. I want to see some crazy movement team fighting.
Tier 2 or crazy movement team fighting. All right. Objective set, Captain. We'll see if they make it happen.
Crazy movement.
Crazy movement. Not okay. We might have jinxed him.
He can still do it. He's
moving. Taking a lot of damage. The movement still a little crazy. Follow up with the ult. The movement's going crazy now. Boukada knocked back. Another stun coming in for the minefield. Second time Canna stunned himself and Jax again.
Where's he going? Where's he going with that thing? Oh my goodness. I mean, a crazy movement from Canna. He's able to secure 3 kills.
I just wanted to hype up your point. I don't know if it was crazy movement. He's just really,
it was really clean. He was
ahead.
dash and farm back and forth.
Oh,
Vladi.
Not on the kill. Vladi goes in, unstoppable. Power shot connects, only taking away an immortal shield, bow shield. Okay. And no one's died yet. They still all have false lives.
See, I wanted to, instead of saying crazy movement, I meant like individual outplays with the G out to because you have that confidence, and that's exactly what they 100%. Showed me. Ballooning the gold lead to 10,000 gold, and they're going to get tier 2 bot as well as a cherry on top.
Only 23 minutes in the game. Baron hasn't spawned yet. They're going to probably get Baron or Soul once they reset here. They will retreat because I don't think they want to risk. Again, I think the way that they can lose this game is you throw a fight, but then you still have false life.
Normally, I'd say when a team has 11,000 gold lead, it's GG, right?
Yeah.
But earlier today, a team did lose with 13,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is anything is possible in the LEC.
Yes. Maybe not just in LEC, in life.
In life.
As Canna here gets jumped on, but he's just so tanky. They just don't have the damage. And he dashes back and forth, ulting in. It's
goes
nice.
Back in. Good follow from Yike. He does stun himself twice on the minefield, but it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's like impossible. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah, or you,
I mean, I think on Calista you can just auto attack and not jump, but on Ambessa, like, I feel like if you try to just use her spells and not jump, surely you just get kited to Narnia.
Probably, yeah. Because her animations are also decently long.
Yeah.
Balanced out by the fact that you can, of course, dash.
It's gonna be...
Yeah, going back, kind of whips an ulti, but doesn't take too much damage from FLICKR. FLICKR only at 1.5 items. 4K individual gold lead from Vladi. Saw what Caps did to Larssen in that game too and said, I can do you one better.
Vladi can just keep pushing top here. I think they need 2 people to stop him.
Ooh, that Mercurial Scimitar.
I think he might end up falling here as both Sion and Corki are moving, but he's using the E well, so he's going to be out. This is full control of this Drake for the side of KC. I just don't think SK can really contest, but then it's like, if we don't contest the Soul, then Nash is going to spawn. And if we can't contest the Soul, how can we contest the Nash? And then how can we contest the Nash after we've given them Soul?
To me, this is like
tough questions.
You know in 300 where they know eventually they're going to lose, but they just try to deny every single inch that they can? That's what this feels like. This Vladi flashes out.
Bit of a mistake here from Vladi. Has to use both Flash, QSS, and Ultimate. But the thing is, even with this, I still don't think you can contest the Soul.
Nope. But you can hold the line. You can make them work for every single inch.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting in the trenches.
League is game inches.
They've given them a lot of inches so far, though. So they really, this is where they hold them.
I don't know. They've given 1 inch, but it's like KC, they get an inch and they take a mile. Is that what they say?
Yeah. A kilometer, sir, please. Gotta get the region right, okay?
Yeah, but then what's you give in centimeter, they take a kilometer.
No, just okay, I see what you mean. It doesn't quite ring the same.
Yeah.
All right, Gen X. You can't do anything here.
The back off, yeah. You know what's funny to me? That they tried to nerf Yone in pro play, but then he's still just like OP in pro play.
Yeah.
With the QSS removal and Targamas here finishing.
Good combo to start things off, but it's on the tankiest members of the team. Loopy getting chunked out here. Ulti not doing a lot. Vladi set up to do a lot of work here, but doesn't quite have the angle to follow up. Still, SK going down. So many members still standing. There's just too many carry threats on the side of KC. Keduii's got no room to work. Boukada is just running as fast as he can. Vladi trying to get involved again, looking for another Q3. Going to try and chase down Gen X. Even that tanky Sion gonna fall in just a couple of seconds. Triple kill for Caliste.
And it's 4 kills going overtime to the KC, and I think they can end here. It's gonna be 30 seconds on the carries of SK. And KC, what a dominant game 1.
Incredibly dominant. The improvements in draft that Odawamne was looking for, and the outplay and execution still on point as always.
Yeah, just a beautiful showcase of mechanics, and a very well snowballed game. No throw.
No throw. It is possible.
It is possible.
27-minute game. The picture of dominance from KC. 15,000 gold lead just about as we close this one out. Taking their time with it, getting ready for game 2. Momentum, no doubt, on their side. SK, we'll see how they adapt. Expecting changes in draft.